We're playing this jump blues style tune at the 6th fret for the most part, and taking the minor pentatonic and including the major third and the 9th, and then that's when we're on the 1 chord, and then doing some things to spell out the 4 and the 2/5 turnaround. So let's start here. We start with a pickup phrase, a bend from the 4th to the 5th, and we're going to bend towards the 5th, but not really get there till we hit the actual 5th on the 2nd string, and the root on the high string, and then the root here, jumping out of position to get the root with the pinky at the 11th fret on the 2nd string. And then here's just root, flat 3, 4, and flat 5 stuff. And so that's a bend really only to the flat 5, if that. But then we hold the note that we land on, the 4th, and then bend into the next measure. So it kind of holds, it sort of carries things over. And then, well, actually it just carries in, not in the next measure till we get to here, but it still creates that sense of we're moving forward. So that adds a lot of color to the basic pentatonic right there. We got the flat 7 and the 9. So the 9 is an addition to the pentatonic. That's just blues stuff, the 4th to the flat 5 to the 4. But then we land on the major third and the root and the flat 7. So, and that's a slide and a slide back and a pull off. And that's a hammer-on. You could also do it with a bend, a little half-step bend, in which case you would pick, bend, release, and pull off. One's a little jazzier, more like Kenny Burrell-esque or whatever, and one's a little bluesier. And then we resolve. Now this is definitely out of the pentatonic, although really it only adds one note, and that's this. This is right when you land on bar 5. So this is the 3rd of E flat. It's the 6th of the B flat scale, but it's functioning here as the 3rd of E flat. And then this is working as the root of E flat and the flat 7. So we're spelling out 3 of the 4 chord tones of E flat. And it tells everybody, like, the 4 chord is here. And then this is more of the same. This is almost a Charlie Christian-y sort of idea. So here's the 3rd, again, of the E flat. If you look at the chord shape, you're kind of spelling out an E flat 7. And then here's the 3rd from that shape. So here's the 3rd, flat 7, slide to the 6th of E flat, and the 5th, and the root, the 3rd, and the 9th of E flat. If that helps you remember it with the chord shape, great. If it helps you just to think of it relative to B flat, then that's cool too. Just whatever will help keep it in your head and in your fingers. Helps me to picture the E flat chord. And then we're off and running with another lick over B flat. And so here, we're really getting a very major sound from this position, whereas the opening lick was much more minor pentatonic. We've got the 3rd. We've got the major 3rd at the beginning and the end of the phrase, which just makes it that much brighter. There's a triplet lick with a hammer-on from the 6th fret to the 7th fret, which is the flat 3 to the major 3rd. Again, you could bend it or hammer or a slide up and back. Now we're coming into the turnaround. One of the things that makes, besides the groove, that makes this sound like a jump blues tune, like a T-Bone Walker sort of thing, is that it goes not to the 5 at this point in the tune for the turnaround. This is the measure 9. Not to the 5 to 4, but to 2, C minor 7 to 5. And we want our playing to reflect that. So this lick. Now it looks at first like, hey, that's just B flat stuff. But if you hear that relative to the C, what we're doing is we're spelling out the notes of a C minor 7 chord all the way up from the root, flat 3rd, 5th, flat 7, 9, and 11. Whew, up in the stratosphere of weird notes, right? I mean, it does also sound just like B flat stuff, but the reason it sounds good here is because of what it's spelling out relative to C minor. So this is like coming down 11, 9, flat 7 of C minor. And then chromatically from here to here, that's more spelling out of C minor 7. There's flat 3, 5, and flat 7. And then here, we're actually back to a B flat bluesy sound. So flat 3, 2, root, 6, 5, root. And this is a super characteristic thing for swing and swing influenced bebop players, like say Oscar Peterson, which is you play over the sound of the 2 chord, and then halfway through the resolution on the 5, you don't actually spell out the 5 chord, you just go back to playing blues in whatever key you were in this case B flat. So this is all, and then basically that's B flat blues. And there's B flat blues with the 6th added in. So at this point, on the final lick of the tune, we've taken the basic B flat minor pentatonic position, and by adding in major 3rd and the 6th, we're basically playing major pentatonic at this point. And so that's a lot of notes and numbers to digest, but the basic idea is minor pentatonic, resolving to the major 3rd, spelling out the 4, and then back to major on the B flat, and then spelling out C minor, and then back to blues, major pentatonic. And that gets you through the entire solo.